over the hunger situation in Gaza, and political divides also emerging after Democratic Senate leader Chuck Schumer called for new elections in Israel. The prime minister now turning to Republican lawmakers.
The Israeli prime minister met via video hookup with Senate Republicans, and he had what Mike Johnson describes as a lengthy call with the House Speaker. Johnson told reporters the GOP staunchly opposes Senate leader Chuck Schumer's call for new Israeli elections.
It's dangerous for him to be trying to suggest how Israel should run its domestic affairs.
Johnson says he's considering inviting Benjamin Netanyahu to address lawmakers. A speech to a joint meeting of Congress would require Schumer's consent. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Both President Biden and GOP candidate Donald Trump are projected winners in Tuesday's state primary races, including Arizona. President Biden in Phoenix today touting his Investing in America agenda. Funding, he says, is creating high-paying jobs in Arizona.
This historic funding will use to build new semiconductor fab facilities and modernize and expand existing ones in Arizona, Ohio, New Mexico, and Oregon.
O-Pill is now available online, and starting this week, Walgreens tells ABC News it will begin stocking the over-the-counter birth control pill at stores nationwide. The price just under $20 for a one-month pack. Walgreens and CVS also say they've started offering the progesterone blocker mifepristone in some states where abortion is legal. The Federal Reserve Board keeping interest rates unchanged for now and announcing 3 interest rate cuts sometime this year. Chair Jerome Powell says more progress is needed.
But inflation is still too high. Ongoing progress in bringing it down is not assured, and the path forward is uncertain.
But the future looks bright for investors. Stocks soaring on word that interest rate cuts are in store this year. You're listening to ABC News.
Sneezing, coughing, stuffy nose, runny nose, postnasal drip, interrupted sleeping. I was groggy at the end of the day.
Allergies and sinus congestion were making Jana miserable. Then, a friend recommended Navage. Navage provides immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Navage helps you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
Navage gave me instant relief. I didn't have to wait 30 minutes. I didn't have to wait an hour, 90 minutes. I didn't have to wait a minute. I ran the rinse and I felt better.
Stop suffering from congestion and start breathing and feeling your best again with Navage. Navage.
I've had people ask me how I find relief, and I tell them Navage immediately. This thing is amazing.
Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid.
A new survey among car owners finds that when it comes to getting vehicles repaired, dealerships have some work to do.
Kia and Jeep dealership service centers rounded out the bottom of the Consumer Reports overall satisfaction survey. Both brands netted below average ratings for repairs. Hyundai wasn't far behind either. On the other end of the spectrum, Acura, Lexus, Mazda, and Volvo ranked best in overall satisfaction.
ABC's Mike Dubusky reporting. Ireland's prime minister says he'll step down as his country's leader once a successor is chosen. He's citing personal and political reasons for his decision. A Southern California pastor is under arrest, accused of hiring 2 hitmen to kill the man dating his daughter.
47-year-old Samuel Pasillas is a pastor at a church in Victorville, now accused of paying 2 men almost $40,000 to kill a man romantically involved with Pasillas' daughter. The victim was shot in 2023, hit by bullets while driving, but survived. Riverside police officer Ryan Railsback says Pasillas hired the shooters because he did not approve of the man dating his daughter.
He met with and hired some people to do this shooting.
Pasillas is now in jail. Alex Stone, ABC News.
New Zealand trying to prevent minors from vaping. Officials there say they will ban disposable e-cigarettes or vapes. Retailers who sell those products to minors will face fines of up to $60,000. I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Rev up your engines, Port Angeles.
First Race Car Wash is where premium Shell gas meets the ultimate car pampering experience. Swing by our convenient location for an upgraded car wash experience that'll leave your ride gleaming. Fuel up with Shell's finest and treat your car to the TLC it deserves. First Race Car Wash in Port Angeles. You're a winner every time when you've got that first race shine.
Is it time for new asphalt paving for your dirt, gravel, or damaged driveway? There's one place to call: Lakeside Industries, the community-minded asphalt paving professionals serving the community since 1982. You see them all around Clallam County working major city, county, and highway projects. Did you know Lakeside does residential and commercial grading, paving, and stormwater too? No asphalt paving job is too small. Just call 452-7803 for a free estimate.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. 457-6600. Investigation continues into an armed robbery of the Port Angeles Dollar Tree store. It happened Monday afternoon. Man brandishing a gun with his head covered. Pointed the gun at two employees, told them he wanted the money. He made off with about $1,800. Clallam County PUD urging for improvements in the right-of-way of the BPA line out to the west end. They say increasing the right-of-way from its current 100 feet could do a lot to prevent those big, long outages that often occur when trees topple the main line feeding the west end.
Here's your Newsradio KONP forecast. Chance for isolated rain showers this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. High temperatures reach up to 51. Northeast winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance for isolated rain showers tonight. Lows level off around 42. Overcast skies. Overcast skies tomorrow. Chance for isolated rain showers. Highs around 52. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 50 degrees.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
All right, welcome to the program. We're going to have some fun here in the first half of the show today. Some of my good musician friends are in the studio today for a couple of reasons. One, because I haven't done live music on this show in a long time, so that's just fun in itself. But also, Farmstrong is going to be the next in the Washington Local Series at Field Hall. And they're going to be doing a concert there on March 30th, and we thought it'd be great to have them come in, play a little bit of music, talk a bit about these local guys that to play terrific music, and how they all got together and how they do this little magical thing that they do and let you hear for themselves. And then perhaps you'll want to buy a ticket or 10 and come see these guys down at the beautiful Field Hall on March 30th. So we welcome to the studio Court Armstrong, Jim Faddis, and Rick Mead. They're three of the four that will be performing. We're down one today, but that's okay. That'll mean you have to come to hear the bass player. That's right. That's how you do this. That's
he really makes
tease.
the band.
Yeah. All right, Court. It's great to see you again. Thanks for coming down. Let's talk a bit about Farmstrong, how you got this group together. And you guys have been doing this for a while. So
we have. We know how long we've been doing this because my oldest son, Spencer, who just turned 11 this year, was born when we all got together. 11 years ago.
Okay.
Jim and I started playing together, 12 or 13 years ago. Is that right, Jim?
Something like that.
And we met just in the local music scene looking for somebody in what we thought was a shallow pool of musicians. Turns out it's not a shallow pool of musicians around here, as I think you know, Todd.
Yeah.
And we started playing as a duo and singing Stanley Brothers songs, and we decided that it would be real nice to put together a band and start playing gigs. And just by a fluke, somebody sent me an email about some physical therapist that had just started practicing in town from Port Orchard. And that is how we got Rick Mead's name. And I gave him a call, and he skeptically came on down to my house one night with his dobro, and that very first day we knew we had something. So,
well, and this is really what I love about this is people get a chance when they hear you guys play. I mean, you got dobro, you've got guitars with resonators, you have things that people don't normally get a chance to, actually experience. It's very traditional.
Yeah, I think it kind of comes across as like a country band type of outfit, the instrumentation, not so much bluegrass. particularly how I play guitar, but the fact that we have 2 resonator guitars and it's a guitar-heavy band like we're Crosby, Stills, and Nash or something like that. So we find a lot of skeptics when we play at bluegrass festivals, but we get a really great response from the audiences there. And instead of the regular constant driving bluegrass sound, there's a real focus on the singing and a lot more dynamic.
And you guys will get we'll hear this shortly a little bit, and I think people will be thrilled if you haven't seen them. So Court, just a little bit personally about you. Tell us about how long have you been playing? How did you get started in all of this music stuff?
Well, I've been playing guitar pretty similar to how I do it today since I was pretty little. My mom used to teach guitar to elementary school students, so though I wasn't into it at the time, I sort of absorbed it. And, started singing Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Neil Young music when I was in high school. I became an avid Deadhead in high school. And so that was my first social music scene. And then after college, I moved up to Seattle and started to get into the bluegrass circles.
And then you evolved into this, and I just call it farmstrong music. I mean, it really is. It's kind of this country feel of things that I really don't hear anywhere else except when I hear you guys play it.
It is a little different than any specific genre. Even though we play bluegrass festivals, we're hardly a bluegrass band in the sense. I'm a country blues guitar picker, really. I've always tried to market it as songster music because
that's a good one.
Jim is a great songwriter. It sort of inspires a lot of the material we do, and Rick and I have started to contribute songs, but we take songs that move us from really all kinds of genres and sort of put it in our box and chew on it for a while and
out comes magic.
Sometimes.
That's what you want to call it.
Jim, let's talk with you because
Sure.
you're kind of principally you contribute a lot to writing some of what you guys play.
Yeah, most of the originals are one of the ones that I've written.
Yeah. So same question. How long have you been doing this thing? What got you started in music?
Well, pretty similar to Court. My mom played guitar and fiddle, and so she once in a while she'd break the fiddle out and she'd say, "Hey, come second me," which meant back me up in Arkansas-ese, I guess, because that's where she was from. And so, and kind of like Court, most of the music I was exposed to in my high school years, Neil Young. In fact, I get a lot of people come up to me when I do shows other than Farmstrong and say, "You sound just like Neil Young." And it's true. But so Neil Young, Little Feat, those are my influence. I've been playing since I was about 12 years old.
Yeah.
So
right on, and continuing on
as long as I can.
Well, it keeps all of us young. That's why we all do this, actually, in the end. So, all right, let's talk real quick with Rick. Same question: how'd you get started with all of this?
My dad was a guitar player and singer, and I started playing guitar when I was 4. And my dad wanted me to be the next Chet Atkins, but I drifted more towards rock and roll, and then folk music. And Gordon Lightfoot was probably one of the biggest influences for me musically. Learning to finger pick, doing Chet Atkins stuff, Gordon Lightfoot stuff was pretty easy. And then came along Crosby, Stills, Nash, and some of the people we all like, real well. And then when I was about 21, I got listened to the Circle album by Nitty Gritty Dirt Band and realized I wanted to start flat picking. So I started flat picking the guitar and got involved with bluegrass music in Virginia. I was in the Navy, and then picked up the banjo and mandolin, and the dobro. It was my latest since about 2004.
So you're playing your newest
my newest
instrument for us, right?
Only 20 years.
Only 20 years.
I love it. Describe. I should have each of. I didn't ask. Court's already kind of described this, but if you describe Farmstrong, when somebody says, "Hey, so you're playing with Farmstrong," what kind of music is that? How do you describe it?
Well, I think on our website, Pure Distilled Country Music, I think that really, when I saw that in pen, I'm going, yeah, that really describes us. But and we kind of do what we want to do our way. We find a song, and you use the word Farmstrong. We use it all the time. We Farmstrong a song.
I like it.
And arrange it. But I'd say a bluegrass tinge to it, but old country.
Yeah. Okay. Jim, same question. I mean, how do you describe your group when somebody says, well, what do you do?
I kind of describe it as folky bluegrass, because it's got elements of bluegrass. It's got elements of blues. I mean, we do Ray Charles songs. We do, we're working on Savoy Brown, some of that kind of stuff, and we like to take, you don't want to take the most familiar kind of music. It always gives me a thrill when we do one of these songs that's kind of like out there, and people sit there and say, I've heard this before, but we arrange it differently, and then they get about halfway through the song and they say, oh,
I know that one now.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So,
all right. Well, how about we do that for our listeners out there? Maybe we'll hear a couple songs here. What do you got for us to start us off?
I think we're going to start off with a Reverend Gary Davis song, a gospel blues. That's kind of where I come from. And I've suckered these guys into doing some of this material.
All right, let's hear it.
Ready? Yeah.
Lord, I'll be with you. Lord, I'll be with you. Lord, I'll be with you always. Lord, I'll be with you. Lord, I'll be with you. Lord, I'll be with you always. I'll be with you in times of trouble. I'll help you with all your struggle. Oh, I'll be with you always. I'll be with you at your sixth trial. At your seventh, I will not deny you. Oh, I'll be with you always. Lord, I'll be with you. Lord, I'll be with you. Lord, I'll be with you always. Well, now, Peter, go and teach your nation in whatever I have commanded. Oh, I'll be with you always. I'll be your father, I'll be your mother, I'll be your sister, I'll be your brother. Oh, I'll be with you always. Lord, I'll be with you. Lord, I'll be with you. Lord, I'll be with you always. Lord, I'll be with you. Lord, I'll be with you. Lord, I'll be with you always. Lord, I'll be with you. Lord, I'll be with you. Lord, I'll be with you always. Lord, I'll be with you always.
I love it. Nice job. That's a little of what you'll hear on the 30th if you head to Field Arts and check out Farmstrong. Fun stuff. I forgot how much I enjoy listening to you guys until you fired that up there for us. So very nice. All right, you got another one for us?
Oh, you bet.
All right, let's hear one more at least. So
Well, I can do Speed.
all right.
Do a John Prine song. Rick's going to sing it. Just recently they opened a coffee bar at the Waterfront Coffee Bar, I think they call it. And I played a set down there as part of the grand opening, and so did Jim. And Jim had this idea, along with a number of other musicians at the event, that were also playing John Prine songs, and that we should put together a John Prine event, where maybe on his birthday, where we. So if anybody thinks that's a great idea, why don't you call into the station, and we'll check in with Todd later.
We'll see where we're at.
Anyway, this is one of our favorite John Prine songs.
Come home late and you come home early. You come home big when you're feeling small. You come home straight and you come home curly. Sometimes you don't come home at all. So what in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? You've broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. I got a heart that burns with the fever. I got a word and a jealous smile. How can a love that'll last forever get left so far behind? So what in the world's come over you? And what in heaven's name have you done? You've broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. Mighty mean and a dreadful sorrow to cross a year line today. How can you ask about tomorrow? We ain't got one word to say. So what in the world's come over you? And what in heaven's name have you done? You've broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. You've broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run.
John Prine would be proud. That's very good. Nice job, guys. A couple of the songs that you'll be playing those, I would think, on the 30th, perhaps. Or,
We might.
No,
We might.
you might. You might not.
You have to show up and find out.
That's it. You got it, Jim. That's exactly
How
it.
does it sound with bass? That's what I want to know.
Well, you'll have to come on March 30th. You'll find out a whole new nuance to all of this as well. Thank you guys so much for coming in, and good luck at the concert. Court Armstrong, Rick Mead there, who you just heard singing on that John Prine tune, and Jim Faddis are 3 of the 4 members of Farmstrong. Tickets are still available, but get them now because I think once word gets out that these guys are going to be playing in that beautiful facility, it will be selling out quick. So head over to fieldhallevents.org and secure your tickets while you can, and come have some great fun with these guys because they do a great show, and they could go for hours.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, Todd.
All right. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more on our program in just a moment.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg is always adding to the list of things they provide to keep your vehicle looking brand new. The full detail shop is just one more service to check off that list. Not only will your interior and exterior shine, your engine will sparkle too. Red Carpet is also getting some winter upgrades, including new equipment in the manual bay and new vacuums. Call Kyle today and let him get you scheduled for your red carpet treatment Tuesday through Saturday. 360-461-0826.
Have you been searching and searching for anyone to install, repair, or replace your windows? What about looking for someone to install a new exterior door? And what about a skylight? Or a new glass shower enclosure? Or even a glass railing system? It can be hard, if not near impossible, to just get a call back. We at Hartnagel Building Supply sympathize with just how difficult it can be to get fast and dependable glass services. It's why we created our newest division, Hartnagel Glassworks. With over 80 years of combined experience, our team is ready and excited to help you on your next project. Whether it's big or small, residential or commercial, installation or repair, we can pretty much handle anything related to glass. Contact us today at 360-417-8388 or at hbsglassworks.com. Angelus Millwork and Hartnagel Building Supply, building homes, building community since 1906.
The health and strength of a business economy can be measured by the effectiveness of its local Chamber of Commerce. Here on the North Olympic Peninsula, more than 420 business owners join the Port Angeles Chamber of Commerce to support each other and help maintain a strong and resilient network.
Your local chamber works hard every day on projects, initiatives, and advocacy to support our local economy, local business growth, and community pride. We produce events and programs that support the community, including the annual Community Awards, the Clallam Opportunity Investment Network, the Port Angeles Maritime Festival, Clallam County Job Fairs, the 4th of July Celebration and Parade Ride the Hurricane, the Winter Ice Village, and many other programs.
If you own a business and you're not already a member of the Chamber, consider supporting the economic community that supports your business by joining the Port Angeles Chamber of Commerce.
Joining is relatively easy, inexpensive, and your membership does make a difference.
Learn more on our website, portangeles.org.
That's portangeles.org.
All right, what a treat to have Farmstrong in to play a couple songs for us live and to give you a little tease of what's happening at their March 30th concert that'll be at Field Hall. I can say it really. I can. And do get some tickets if you can. fieldhallevents.org. Tickets are on sale right now. But I have 3 pairs of tickets to see Farmstrong. If you would like to go, the next 3 callers at 457-1450, we will set you up with 2 pairs with a pair of passes each to go see Farmstrong. So call now at 360-457-1450 if you'd like to see Farmstrong. Saturday, 7 p.m., March 30th at Field Hall. Next 3 callers each will get a pair of passes to see Farmstrong there at Field Hall. Call now at 360-457-1450. We're going to take a break and check up with the news and be back with more in a moment.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
This is Jonathan Pasternak, Artistic Director of the Port Angeles Symphony. Join me and the 80 musicians of the Symphony for our next concert, Saturday, March 23rd, featuring the return of the phenomenal young violinist Charlotte Marks. Charlotte's virtuosity and expressivity will be on full display as she performs Prokofiev's Violin Concerto No. 2. Opening the program will be music from Paul Hindemith's groundbreaking opera Matisse der Maler. The evening will conclude with Respighi's colorfully brilliant Pines of Rome. On March 23rd, experience the excitement of hearing a full 80-piece symphony orchestra live in concert in the excellent acoustics of the Port Angeles High School Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets at portangelessymphony.org, at Port Book and News, or at the door on concert night. See you at the Symphony.
The Washington State News Network, I'm Rob Francis. The Washington State Patrol paying nearly $41.5 million to settle a federal lawsuit. The suit, filed by 4 plaintiffs, claims a state trooper targeted immigrants and blacks. The 4 said they were each arrested by Trooper Cameron Osmer on suspicion of impaired driving, but their blood tests showed no trace of drugs or alcohol in their system. Internal WSP documents show Osmer was responsible for several similar arrests. A 32-year-old Pasco woman accused of stealing $42,200 by using company credit cards to make more than 300 online orders and buy property in Caldwell, Ohio. Modern Ag Products claims Maria T. Gallegos embezzled $250,000 in more than 1,000 transactions between July of 2022 and November of 2023. Gallegos is charged with first-degree theft and 4 counts of first-degree identity theft in Franklin County Superior Court. She's been released from the county jail on a $25,000 bond pending trial. 2 men, Nicholas Philippe and Ramon Matias, stand accused in Spokane for attempting to lure 2 children into a truck last week. The incident occurred outside Altitude Trampoline Park in Spokane Valley, where the men apparently followed the children before one of them allegedly asked the kids to get into the vehicle. Children went to an employee who then confronted the men as police were called. The men are in Spokane County Jail with a bond set at $2,500. For more on these stories and others, download the WSNN mobile app. You can also visit our website, WashingtonStateNews.net.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast. Chance for isolated rain showers this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. High temperatures reach up to 51. Northeast winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance for isolated rain showers tonight. Lows level off around 42. Overcast skies. Overcast skies tomorrow. Chance for isolated rain showers. Highs around 52. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 50 degrees.
All right, welcome back. We're going to spend a few minutes talking with Benji Astrakhan, who's been on a number of times in the past. We have him back again to talk a bit about what's coming up in a couple of weeks here locally, and it's Food Waste Prevention Week, which is actually from April 1st through the 4th this year. Benji's the Food Access and Waste Prevention Coordinator here in Clallam County through the Extension Office. And Benji, great to see you again. Thanks for coming in.
Great to see you too, Todd. It's always a pleasure.
I'll start with this. A lot of people go, wow, there's an actual person that's in charge of making sure we don't waste food. It's a pretty big substantial part of the waste stream, though, isn't it?
Sure, yeah, it's a huge part of the waste stream. And so I work for the Waste Prevention Program, which is in Clallam County with the Solid Waste Department. And we tackle a lot of different waste prevention items, but I'm especially keen on food waste. So yeah, like you said, it's a huge part of the waste stream. Actually, 1/3 of all the food produced in the world is wasted. So never eaten, never used for anything, just straight up wasted. And it's the number one material that we find in landfills is food. So that's like 21% of everything in landfills is food. And some more shocking statistics while I'm at it, we got 40% of all food in the U.S. is wasted. So
give that to me again. What was that percent?
40%.
40%. So that's just about half almost.
Yep,
I mean, you're
just about
half.
Half of all food does not get eaten. And, it's for a wide variety of reasons, which also luckily means there's a wide number of interventions that we can stage in a lot of ways that you and I as individuals or up the scale as businesses and industries can really make a difference in that number.
I'm going to go back to that 40% number just to, that's not only just like I didn't eat everything on my plate, but I mean, that also takes into account things like, in the field that things go bad, right? I mean, that's
absolutely.
Part of this.
Yeah, absolutely. At all points of the production chain. So there's a lot of reasons that food never even makes it off the farm, never makes it out of the ground. But then if you think also about food that needs to be processed and transported and then retailed, and then between the retailer and home, there's more transportation. Mm-hmm. At home, you have your own processing to do. And then finally, what's left on the plate. So there's a lot of different points where food can be wasted.
And I think you'll probably allude to this in just a moment as we go through what's up on this event. But some of this comes down to, keeping your access to your food as close to the end use of that food, right? That does get, because you just pointed out, when you start putting more transport, more processing, more steps along the way, there's a bigger chance for waste or things to go bad or something happens to it.
Definitely. We're really lucky here in Clallam County to have such a robust farm scene, because certainly cutting out a lot of those steps creates a lot less places where food waste can occur. So, the old adage, know your farmer, it couldn't be more true, and it especially rings true when it comes to food waste prevention. It really helps put value on food when you know who grew it, where it was grown, maybe right near your home, and the role that it plays in your community.
Okay, so let's talk about kind of what you're rolling out here the April 1st through the 4th to help us be aware of food waste and really, I guess, the end goal for us residents here in Clallam County with this.
Yeah, so it's April 1st and actually right through to the 7th, we have activities happening that whole week. So first on Tuesday, April 2nd, there's going to be a food waste proclamation from the Clallam County Commissioners just to recognize and honor Food Waste Prevention Week. And we are part of actually an international campaign. So Washington itself already has, I think, several hundred entities involved in Food Waste Prevention Week. But then all across the states and actually across the world, there's all sorts of organizations, whether schools, faith organizations, community organizations, local governments, for-profit businesses, people at all different levels are getting involved. And so here in Clallam County, we're going to be honoring Food Waste Prevention Week with that proclamation, as we did last year, just to restate the importance of it and the prevalence of food waste prevention in the work that we do at the county level.
And one of the things that's interesting, too, to point out, I mean, we truck out all of our garbage, essentially, now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big part.
Oh, yeah.
When you live in a place where you've got to then pay to transport what now it sounds like a good portion of that's wasted food, that's... you start to the dollars and cents of it starts to figure in.
Absolutely, and it's just one of the many reasons that we can be doing more to prevent food waste, whether it's home composting or setting up different reuse and reduce cycles. So for example, here in Clallam County, we're actually luckily working with our food banks. So between Sequim, Port Angeles, and the Lower Elwha Clallam tribal food banks, almost 100,000 pounds of food last year was passed along to hog farmers and other folks with livestock, as opposed to just dumping it into landfills. So there's a lot of great ways to prevent that extra mileage from trucking, and also just make sure that the nutrients in the food, everything that makes food so good, is still being used one way or another.
Part of this is not only the awareness of what's going on, but I think hooking people up. I mean, and just what you talked about there. I mean, not everybody knows where to find a hog farmer, for example.
Exactly,
that might take your waste. So that's a part of this equation.
Yeah, and in the spirit of hooking people up, we're going to be at the farmers market that week on April 6th. We'll be tabling, like last year, with a community education resources table. So come chat with us. We've got all sorts of really great information about what you can do at home personally, different ways to deal with food once it's been wasted, once it's past the point of eating, different ways to prevent those organics ending up in the landfills. And also we'll have all sorts of opportunities to sign up for other events. I'll just shout out now. Later on in the year, we'll be offering a food waste prevention class through the Extension Office. And then I'll also be running some composting workshops with the library system in Sequim, Port Angeles, and Forks in the month of July. But you're right, for now we're focusing on Food Waste Prevention Week, April 1st through 7th. And so some of the other fun activities we have that week include our Food Waste Trivia Night. So hosted by the Angelus Tap Room here in Port Angeles, we'll be doing food waste themed trivia for some awesome zero waste prizes. So that should be a fun time.
All right. What is a zero waste prize? Just so I kind of know what's on the line.
Yeah. We've got some really sweet reusable mugs and water bottles. We've got reusable cutlery wraps to take with you on the go, so you can opt out of those single-use plastics. We've got all sorts of kind of food storage devices too, nifty saving containers, beeswax wrap, all sorts of stuff to make sure that the food you already have at home stays good for longer.
All right. A fun way to raise some awareness with some trivia, and I'm sure it's intended to be a kind of, I didn't know that sort of event, right? Yeah, okay. Now, this one intrigues me, too. On Wednesday, April 3rd at noon at the Food Bank in PA, you're going to do a zero-waste recipe demonstration and tasting. What's going to happen with this? Tell us about that event.
Yeah, so the Port Angeles Food Bank at its new location out next to Walmart has a commercial kitchen now. That's a relatively new development. It was a ton of hard work and some awesome collaborations across local, regional, and state government to make it happen. And so now they have this beautiful commercial kitchen, and Chef Neil is able to process food that would otherwise be wasted into healthy, nutritious, and I can confirm this, delicious meals that he's able to hand out at the food bank to clients who come through. So it's just another way to expand food access and make sure people can have good local food. And so Chef Neil and I are going to be putting together a recipe that we'll be able to distribute the cards for, and also offer tastings to folks who come by the food bank at noon. And it's going to be a recipe we haven't decided yet. We're going to take a look in the coolers and see what looks extra tasty the day before, but It's going to be a recipe specifically designed to minimize the amount of food waste, or even to use food that would otherwise be wasted, vegetable scraps, what have you.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. What do we talk about wasted food? Because I think some people will go, well, they're not going to feed me spoiled food.
No, of course not.
But there's a lot of food, like you just pointed out. There's just parts to it that goes into the trash.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been on here before to talk about the gleaning program, which is where we
Right.
harvest excess produce from local farms. And often that produce, it's 100% as good as the neighboring produce. It just maybe has a little bit of pest damage on the surface. It grew in a funky shape. You often see those carrots that are hugging each other, or other vegetables in strange shapes that we wouldn't normally see in our supermarkets. So it's all perfectly good food. There's just many reasons that it doesn't make it to market. And unfortunately, that does often lead to waste, whether on farms, in the processing chain like we talked about, or at the supermarket itself where folks just don't choose it. So no, we have lots of very good, healthy, delicious food, and we'll be processing it in different ways into recipes to make it tasty and appealing.
Now, to the other side of that, when you have food that has kind of gone bad, I know that this is where you talk about ways to compost it, ways that you could actually, you turn that into something usable later.
Yeah, and so that's why we'll be doing some more composting workshops later this year. Home composting is great, and I think there's a good chance that here in Clallam County we're maybe a little bit more on top of our home composting than other places, just being of a more rural nature.
Right.
Folks here are generally a little bit better connected into their surrounding lands and have more of an understanding of what it means
And
to have
some
to
space
truck
to
trash
do
away.
it too.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
I have a lot of friends who live in the city, and it's tough to compost because
It is.
the space limitation. You don't have a nice corner in your yard necessarily that you can do that if you're living in an apartment complex, for example.
Yeah, it is. And something we're going to be talking about at our composting workshops is all the different ways you can compost, because there are so many ways other than just piling food and yard scraps in a pallet out back in your yard. There's vermicomposting, and there's just many ways to compost for all different setups. So really, anyone can be composting. It's just a matter of getting the resources and getting the knowledge to put it together. And so that's what we'll be exploring in those composting workshops later in the year in July.
There's a website too, right? That folks can go to foodwastepreventionweek.com.
That's right.
What are they going to find there?
That's part of the national campaign. They're going to have a ton of really awesome webinars during Food Waste Prevention Week from April 1st to 7th. They'll have webinars, they'll have talks, they'll have games, all sorts of social media engagement. And then from our own WSU Clallam County Extension social media, we'll be posting more about the local events that we've been talking about today, about where to find those and other success stories and areas that we're working on here in our Clallam County.
One of the things to make anything successful, you got to make it easy for folks to do. And I think that's always been your goal, is to maybe illustrate that it's not as difficult as it may sound. I think, like anything, getting started on it is the toughest part, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. And that actually reminds me, besides just these public-facing events for Food Waste Prevention Week, we also do a lot of work with schools around the year, and we have some really exciting school events coming up this week. And so we're going to be doing a full day of composting education in the school garden at Franklin Elementary. We're going to be doing a food waste audit led by the students at the high school, and then Jefferson is going to be taking a field trip to a local farm who runs a composting operation. And so the goal there is really to work in the knowledge about food waste prevention, composting, soil ecology, and why all of this matters from an early age, because I think a lot of us maybe didn't grow up learning about this stuff in school, and that's why it's harder to tackle as adults. Even if we know it's the right thing to do, we just don't have the resources or the tools to go after it. So we want to make sure that kids are getting it from day one, because it is just such an important part of the modern world now, and of taking care and being responsible for your own waste stream and playing your role in making sure that there's enough food to go around.
Nothing beats great compost, though, either, if you do it right.
That's right, yeah.
It actually turns into a good thing for your garden.
Oh, yeah, and it's been really fun. I do a weekly composting at Franklin with the students. It's been really fun to poke around there and find the wiggler worms, and the kids have a blast. Then they see it being transferred to the garden, and they get to snack on the crops growing out of the aged, matured compost that we're applying to the garden. So it really comes full circle when you can track the movement over the school year or several school years.
All right. What is the one thing, if you had to just give one piece of advice for people about, in their home or something, that place to start to deal with this as an issue? Because this is one of those things that if everybody did a little bit of something, it'd make an impact probably.
Yeah, there's so many things, but the first thing that came to mind is don't look at the expiration dates. The only food that has to have an expiration date by federal or local law is baby formula. And Everything else, those dates are put on there essentially to get you to toss it and buy some more. It's a marketing mechanism.
Interesting.
So really use your senses, use your different senses, and use your own judgment on food. Just because the date has passed does not mean the food is bad, especially if it's canned or shelf stable. More than likely, it's good for a long time after that date.
But it's a good point. You're not the first person I've heard tell me this. It's kind of like, well, boy, this seems odd. This milk seems to be just fine. I don't know why I have to toss it at this point.
Yeah, and frankly, if it is starting to turn milk or whatever it is, there's so many ways to still use it. There's so many recipes that rely on ingredients that may be past their prime, but still totally edible and are going to be pasteurized or cooked or processed in some way that is totally safe and frankly delicious. And then if you're even past that point, of course, we've talked about livestock, composting. There's so many options to make sure that that organic waste doesn't just end up in a landfill, quite literally stinking it up.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Good luck in a couple of weeks, April 1st through the 7th, actually. That whole week is going to be Food Waste Prevention Week, and there's a lot of things. I think you don't realize what we're doing, but boy, that's a staggering number you gave earlier of 40%. I'm just kind of still, I think, floored by that as well. And if we can, do our part to get the waste stream cut down a little bit, I think that's a good thing as well. Benji, it's always great to have you. Thanks for coming down.
Thanks so much, Todd. It's a pleasure to talk.
If people want to pop in, they can get in touch with you too beyond this. What's a good way to reach out to you about this topic in general?
Absolutely. So the Waste Prevention Program is housed in the W Extension Clallam County office. We're now out by the airport, so feel free to drop by anytime. If you're a Master Gardener 4-H, you'll be familiar with our location. But we have all sorts of great information programming, and I always say the Extension office does so much more than you think it does. Mm-hmm. We have all sorts of awesome programs, so come by, take a visit, and as always, I love to chat about food waste and prevention specifically, so I'll be there. We can ham it up.
And he does a good job at it, too. And that new facility is great because you've been able to all spread your wings and really show off all of the programs that go on out there. So, all right, Benji Astrachan, it's always great to have you. Thanks for stopping by. Have fun in a couple weeks.
Thanks so much, Ted. We're so excited to see folks at Food Waste Prevention Week, and check out our social medias. Keep up to date with all of the fun events, and we'll see you out there.
All right. Sounds good. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg is always adding to the list of things they provide to keep your vehicle looking brand new. The full detail shop is just one more service to check off that list. Not only will your interior and exterior shine, your engine will sparkle too. Red Carpet is also getting some winter upgrades, including new equipment in the manual bay and new vacuums. Call Kyle today and let him get you scheduled for your red carpet treatment Tuesday through Saturday. 360-461-0826.
Bathfitter does showers? That's right. We offer a wide selection of beautiful and functional showers. We can even convert your bath into a shower. With our seamless one-piece walls and hundreds of design options, you'll get a beautiful new shower guaranteed for life. Bathfitter's been around for 40 years, and we've been experts at showers for just as long. Bathfitter, it just fits.
Right now at Bathfitter Northwest, we pay your sales tax. Just call 800-NEW-BATH. OAC, see store for details.
It's time for Your Port of PA Today. A look inside the port and share what's in it for you.
Hello, this is Colleen McAleer, District 1 Port Commissioner. I'm proud the port has over 100 years of bringing people, resources, and industry together to foster economic prosperity for Clallam County residents. A great example of this has been the port's partnership with Stay Beecraft as they move their North American headquarters to the Port of PA. Our area offers numerous advantages for businesses: a deep water port, a strong qualified workforce, and competitive operational costs that attract domestic and international businesses to our area. This year, we're celebrating the 100th anniversary of the port by continuing to foster economic prosperity for the people that call Clallam County home.
This has been Your Port of PA Today. Explore portofpa.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riling with Olympic Hot Tub. The next great innovation that makes hot tubbing easier than ever is here. The Freshwater IQ Salt System. Enjoy healthy saltwater soaking and own a tub that automatically tests the water and helps keep it balanced and ready. Wow! Save up to $3,000 on a hot spring spa with new Freshwater IQ. More at OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Next is our Bacon Bit segment this week, where it's a bit of a ghost story. We're going to be talking, our own Amanda Bacon's going to be talking with Brent Underwood, the author of Ghost Town, Living, Chasing Dreams at the Edge of Death Valley. Sit back and take a listen to that.
Good morning, Brent.
Good morning, Amanda. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, what a really cool story you have.
Thank you. It's been an adventure.
So, Brent, I have to ask, when you decided to buy this ghost town, Cerro Gordo, was this before or after COVID? Because I know you moved in as COVID was hitting, but did like the sale go through and then COVID hit? I mean, how was that?
Yeah, I bought it before the pandemic, hoping for a time to, just create this hospitality destination. But COVID definitely drove me up there. It was shutting down all sorts of things. And I thought, hey, what better place to go than absolutely in the middle of nowhere? And so I probably won the award for socially distancing, maybe I would say. And so I moved up there March of 2020. I never really left.
Brent, what made you decide to start video journaling and telling the story of this?
Yeah, I think it was a new hobby during COVID. People started baking sourdough bread. Everybody started kind of having their own little hobbies. And I had a camera, and I really at first wanted to learn how to do astrophotography, so those photos of the stars. And it's so dark and beautiful out there. I thought that'd be a great hobby to learn. And during that, I started filming some of the time there too, just because my family and friends were pretty interested. They were like, oh, what's going on up in the ghost town? And so I was making some videos, and they've kind of taken on a life of their own. And then I found it was a fun outlet for creativity. I didn't have a real creative outlet before that. And so capturing and documenting the time up there was a lot of fun.
Have you always been an outdoorsy fella? Because I got to tell you, the thought of not having running water and living, I want to get away from people a lot of the time and just be on my own for I don't know, a day or two. Yeah. The thought of living that far away with a ghost and, some cats, which I dig the cat thing. It terrifies the heck out of me. I mean, how do you spend your days? And are you an outdoorsy person by nature?
Yeah, I mean, I was as much as I could be growing up in Florida. It's very flat there, and so I was in the Boy Scouts. I did all those things growing up, but I've never seen mountains like Cerro Gordo. I mean, the town is at 8,500 feet in elevation, so it's way up there. It's a high desert, so it's very high. We're about 3 hours northeast of Los Angeles, 3 hours west of Las Vegas, and it's right at the edge of Death Valley National Park. So the park's border is 6 miles from the property. But if you turn the other way, you see all of Mount Whitney and the Sierra Nevada and all these huge mountain ranges. And so I was a little bit outdoorsy to begin. I think I've gotten a lot more so since being there. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's an adventure. I think that's kind of what I was looking for moving up there at the beginning. And I think I've definitely gotten that, and probably more than I bargained for too.
For some reason, when I hear ghost town and you living there, I think, okay, he's got this cute little cabin that's up in the woods. And you look at it and you're like, no, there's other legitimate buildings there. And it would creep the hell out of me to be up there. Brent, I mean, what is it like to be the only person in that kind of environment?
Yeah, there's about 400 acres of the property, and there's 20 or so buildings. There's even a cemetery here. And so it is a little eerie at times. I think early on, when I wasn't used to all of the sounds of the town, it would keep me up at night when you would hear, what I now identify as, let's say, the wind going through a certain part of corrugated metal. I didn't know what that was at the time. So I was like, I don't know what that is. And so you're always very vigilant and aware. But now it's strange too, because now if I hear a sound that I'm not used to, I'm like, well, what could that possibly be? Because I've heard all the sounds for 4 years. And so there's always a debate going on in my mind, whether I'm being, attacked or something going on. But it's very peaceful. I think more is like the main thing that I take away from it. Just being in the mountains, it's very hard to get to the town at times. And so, it just feels like my own kind of like slice of heaven.
So, Brent, when I was looking to buy a house, I was on Zillow, and I feel like a 400-acre ghost town is something I would have seen, but not clicked on. How did you even find Cerro Gordo? Like, how did that happen?
It was actually a buddy of mine. So my friend was living out in LA, and he sent me the listing, and it was something like, buy your own town or something amazing like that. And he said it mostly as a joke. At the time I was living in Austin, Texas, and I had a bed and breakfast going in an old Victorian mansion, so one of those from the 1890s with the wraparound porches. And so he knew that I loved history and hospitality, and he knew I was looking for like kind of a new project. And he's like, oh, well, this could be your thing. Haha, almost, joke. There's no running water. This is not it, but maybe. And as soon as I read it, I just fell in love. It brought back all these memories of watching the TV show Gunsmoke with my grandfather, just like all these Western things to solve. And
yes.
I went to visit, and I just fell in love, I guess. And now here, 6 years later, still at it, still loving it even more every day. And I don't know, it's a very interesting place, and it's a place that I hope that survives and lasts for a long time to come. And I think that's part of my mission being out here, is just preserving the place and bringing it back to life.
Do your family come and visit?
Yeah, my family have come. I have one sister, and then my parents. And my parents came very early on when I first kind of got the place, and they were good for a night, and then they decided to go down to the closest town and spend the rest of the time there. And my sister's come once, but I think it's getting more comfortable every day. I mean, early on, it was very understandable. It was kind of like camping indoors is what it felt like, because there's nothing. But these days, I have a couple buildings with working showers and toilets, and I think that next time my parents come, it'll be a little more comfortable for them.
So Ghost Town Living, this book that you have written, is all about your adventures in this incredible ghost town.
Yeah, it's about the past 4 years living up here, kind of some of the things that have happened, the adventures I've been on, the obstacles I've overcome, but it's also about the history of the town. This town was one that was really important back in the day, and I think that over the last 4 years, I was able to uncover a lot of the cool stories from the past, a lot of the interesting characters that were up there, and weave those stories in through my own, and then kind of my takeaways or my meditations on the other end of it. And so I hope for it, and I think that, I think it came out really good.
Do you ever have fake gunfights up there? Because I feel like if I had an entire ghost town, I would be like Doc Holliday, and I would play all of the different parts all by myself up there.
Yeah, right. I haven't done any fake gunfights, but the Tombstone VHS copy that I have has seen a lot of use. I would say that I've probably watched Tombstone, at least a couple dozen times over the last 4 years being up here. And so maybe one day when I have enough people around to do something, we'll reenact the shootout at the OK Corral or something.
Yes, but who will be our Huckleberry?
Yeah, I don't know. I have to figure that out.
Brent, you are so awesome. And I really hope we get to chat again at some point in time, because I would just love to pick your brain more. But your book, Ghost Town Living, Chasing Dreams at the Edge of Death Valley, is out now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's out. And I thank you for having me. And I hope one day you can make it up to town and we can do a fake gunfight.
Oh my gosh, I am there.
That's awesome.
I will be bringing an ankle holster, though, because I just think those are so cool.
Those are cool. I like that. That's a great move.
Awesome. Brent, thank you so much for your time, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you so much.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
McCrory Carpet One is part of a 1,000-store co-op. That means you get the competitive pricing of a big box store, but with a superior installation. Their team of professional installers are all employees who live here on the peninsula. Their installation teams take pride in their work because they know they're working for their neighbors and friends. Local craftsmen helping local people. Experience the difference. Always priced right and always done right at McCrory Carpet One.
Do you have unused electronic equipment laying around the house and office? Bring it all to the e-waste recycling event this Saturday. Declutter your house and office while helping raise funds for the Olympic Kiwanis Club. Saturday's event will accept computers, printers, monitors, hard drives, cell phones, video games, and so much more. Even printer ink and toner. Whether running or not, bring your unwanted electronic equipment to the e-waste recycling day Saturday, 10 to 2 p.m. Civic Field parking lot.
Rely on us for complete news coverage. We're Newsradio KONP, Port Angeles Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News.